So, Season 1 of Battlefield 6 just launched, and, well, there's a few things I want to talk about. A few interesting things. So not only do we get the three new weapons, the Scar 300 Blackout, which is very cool because I believe, it's the most recent one, and, excuse me, so far no game has included it yet, at least I think, but that's up to, as far as my knowledge goes. However, in this little graphic for their new, redacted sector, battle royale game mode, I can see three very unique weapons. Well, at least one's unique. So first up, from the soldier on the far right, that's the closest to the screen, they're holding just a usual AR platform, looking closely like a Mark 18, maybe? Nah, that's not a Mark 18 stock, no. But it does have a unique stock, unique pistol grip, and of course, not only a longer barrel, but longer handguard for that barrel. So maybe that might be a blueprint eventually in the future for the M4A1. Hopefully. That'd be very cool. And from the soldier to the far left, which is second to be closer to the screen, that seems to be either a Scar 17 or a 20S. I don't really know because of the longer barrel, but might be a 17 most likely. Hopefully that means we get that eventually too, because don't get me wrong, Scar 16 is cool, but the big beefy boy is where it's at. 7.62 NATO is just nice feeling. I don't know about real life much so in games, but to me, Scar 17 just feels a lot better. Not sure about in real life though. Hopefully I get to eventually find that out. And then on the farthest soldier, we have the MP5, but the MP5 SD. Hopefully we get that as a customization option for the MP5 and not a redundant secondary gun that, is locked to burst for some reason. God. Ignoring that little jab. Yeah, hopefully. And for the fourth and final thing, which, by the way, I forgot to mention, we got only the Mini Scout, which I believe is an AR platform-ish bolt action. And we also get the Glock 22. But showing this off actually does imply something that, well, not imply something, but show off that they will do model changes, something that Modern Warfare 2 didn't do up until like 2 blueprints where it randomly decided it wanted to. But this dude in particular right now, in his holster that he has on the front of his, plate carrier, that is a Beretta M9. Maybe a 92, most likely M9, because there is that lanyard loop. By the way, also, I hate how inconsistent the rotate is. I hate that it resets, and I hate that it doesn't do the walking thing. I just really don't like that. Hopefully they fix that, and the menus, because the menus still haven't been fixed at all. So, yeah. But either way, hopefully they add this weapon into the game. And also, I think I mentioned the Glock 22, but yeah, either way, I know it's time to mention that. And now, after talking about those little things, hopefully I'm not pulling a COD where they just make assets and show them off for absolutely no reason, because Modern Warfare 2 had that exact thing. Although we did get the, quote-unquote AMR9, which I believe was supposed to be just a 9mm carbine, or, SMG for Modern Warfare 2, but they, couldn't develop it and decided to just move it to Modern Warfare 3 last second because screw us, I guess. But now let's talk on two things I just want in this game. And let's first get off the one thing I was alluding to originally. So, not only are they evidently already showing it through certain weapons by giving us gillied up versions or, just little funny or wrapped up things, you know, nothing too special, but in the mastery, weapon category for every weapon has usually up to 2 to maybe 3 changes. Kind of don't like it. It's a Battlefield 5 thing to where I really don't like that the mastery camo doesn't look like the gun I have. It changes, like I either have to use a stupid sight or now have a weird looking compensator on my weapon when I don't really want to. I just want my gun to look gold, but either way, I'm glad it shows that they are willing to do this because they might have just dropped it, but either way, this is a change to the ACOG, and this is a change to the default flash hider. Well, not really. Maybe it's a default one, but yeah, it's definitely completely different to the one that is usually like seen. And yeah, that's very interesting. Hopefully, they just give us the option to swap and mix and match just like COD does. And also, actually apply camos to these things because if COD can do it, Battlefield can definitely do it. And I feel like, just more customization to our weapons would not be, argued about. Because what if I want, say, like the little funny, goofy wrap, but I don't want the actual, like, camo that's on the weapon? I could just apply it here. They can make the barrel or something, just the attachment that has that skin. Then we could just, swap it out here and all that jazz. So, hopefully they do that. And the reason why I'm talking about that, for the RPKM, I'd really like a blueprint that just either A, turns it to an AKMN if they do not plan to give us the AKMN anyways, or just, give us that wooden furniture and that ribbed dust cover back, which would also inherently mean that they'd have to give us a optic rail, for the dovetail mount that RPKMs have. I just really don't like that folding stock, but the most thing I don't really like is that horrendous Zenit dust cover. It's too blocky, it's too gross, and the mechanism it uses to hinge itself is kind of weird. And also I don't like the charging handle. So, yeah. I just want good, like, furniture for the RPK, and also I want them to remove this sound. It's annoying. It's just like it's just annoying. That's it. So yeah, hopefully they do that because it's very just very annoying having to have the only good AK because the AK-205 is it's a beam, but it's so underwhelming in damage. I do not like the fact that it's 20 damage. Could be 25 maybe. Could be 23. Just 20 damage just is super whack. Super whack. So, yeah. So, that's basically it. I mean, the Warfighter variant removes the rubber band from the pistol grip. So, hopefully they do something to give us, just a good looking AK. Because I would like that. As much as it would be cursed to make this into the AKMN instead of just giving us an actual AKMN, I'd be completely fine with either or option. Either way, I get a wood furniture AK that I really want. I also want them to remove this off my safe. I'll show you a clip of a little bug that happens because it's not on safe, and it's just a bug in general that annoys me. And that is the fact that it has a bolt hold open when you shoot the last little bit of ammo on the reserve, and it clips through the selector lever, which is kind of goofy. So, before I get into the very final thing I also want to give a little honorable mention that attachment prices and attachments descriptions would also be a very good thing because, like, 50 for the drum mag is kinda excessive, kinda whack. Also the fact that the 40 round 30 round, 36 round, and 60 round magazines all reload the exact same time. Even the drum mag. I find that very whack. And the 30 round fast and 40 round fast both reload the exact same speed. They're faster than the default one, but it's just whack to me that it just... It's not like this one's slower than this one, or this one's slower, or this one's faster than this one, and this one's faster than this one, but slower than this one, and this one's slower than all of them, and this one's the slowest, but whatever. You know, just... They do that. And also, for suppressors, because just look at this. This is 30, this is 30, this is 25, and this is 20. But it all looks like they just do the exact same thing. Okay, this one actually is no longer bugged. But you can see, like, this one has, like, a downside to precision, but it doesn't actually change. It's like a 0.5. This one does the exact same. This one keeps the precision. And these all three just do the exact same thing, besides just one having, like, a small deduction to precision, just a smidgen bit. So, you know, they fixed this one. This one at least properly, you know, acknowledges that it doesn't have a reduced hip fire. But all these have, like, the same thing. So hopefully they fix that in the future, because they did fix this one, so that's good. And the barrels as well are a little bit confusing, because the heavy extended is better than the extended barrel, but the extended barrel apparently costs a little bit more. So, yeah. But the extended barrel at least is accurately longer, because it wasn't longer before for some reason, so they are fixing some things, because these used to be the exact same, even though this is supposed to be 10 millimeters shorter than this one. So, they did that, they fixed it. Don't know why this gives you more mobility despite it being longer, just because this one's quote-unquote heavy, but either way, it's just kind of weird, you know, that this one costs more. Maybe it's just because of the mobility, but, like, it's just weird. So, yeah. Either way, hopefully they fix some of them and just, you know, make things look a little bit better. And now to the next and final thing is the firing range. Right now, I cannot, like, swap to my secondary, or I cannot pull out my melee. All I can do is just use this. I can't use my gadgets at all. Can't do none of that jazz. Just this. So, yeah. Also, foregrips on any AK is kind of iffy. I wish they'd probably, like, pull it forward, or, well, push it forward, because you can see the magazine kind of clips through the foregrip. There's ways you can get around it, I believe, but either way, it just feels kind of whack. This is the only way to swap to the secondary, by the way, and I feel like that's just whack. Actually, wrong. I have a few more things I want to talk about. Another thing I want from Battlefield 2040, well, not 2040, Battlefield 6 is from 2042, and that's the fact that it's supposed to have a partial reload animation, but they only reuse the empty reload animation. It's funny because most of this model is practically just a reuse. All they did was make, you know, different lengths of barrels, give it a proper Picatinny rail, and I believe what it's called a Weaver rail, and also change the rear sight, and I believe pistol grip maybe. But other than that, the only other change is that it's double action, and that's so much better than single action, especially because it indirectly fixes an issue where your character pulls the hammer back every single time while you're reloading, and that's not possible, at least I think, with most models. I don't know any particular model, especially the Taurus Raging Bull, which is, you know, the real-life model this is based on, allows you to, you know, have the hammer pulled back while you eject the cylinder out, you know? So, yeah. That's about it for this. But the final thing I want is, again, from 2042, and that's for specifically the NATO. I would like Maria Falk, and maybe a predecessor to the Siret pistol, because, you know, as much as it's trying to be grounded in realism, there's a few things unrealistic. Like, there's two fictional firearms, one that I believe technically maybe not could exist in real life. The other one that's based on, like, you know, an actual possible thing, so it's most likely that one can. But there's a few things that I believe, you know, already are gamey that they do have, like, you know, I think these don't necessarily exist in real life, but either way, a predecessor to the Siret pistols, especially since it takes, you know, it takes place in 2028 and, you know, trying to build up to that lore of Pax Armada, you know, to both, I think, 2142 and 2042, because 2142 existed, and that's kind of funny, but either way, just that, and also for a cute little detail to where if you are, you know, playing as Maria Falk and you have that selected, it disappears from her holster, and not only disappears, but appears in her holster, because I feel like she shouldn't have it if you don't have the Siret pistol equipped. But if, you know, if she does, I would just like it to disappear from her holster when she actually does equip it, so that'd be cool. That's basically it. A lot of the things that I wanted to talk about originally have already been fixed. Maybe I haven't really tested it yet. I haven't gotten to play like a round of it yet, nor have I played the BR mode. But all I know is that they've fixed up some things, and hopefully they are fixed. They haven't fixed up this one bug though that the RPK has, and it really bugs me. But well, technically two, but we'll see about that eventually. I know it will eventually get fixed, and I'm happy that DICE is doing things. So yeah, that's about it for this video.